moving sideways past the palms, radio low. Engine ticking after the drive. Pulled in a little before sunrise, hands stiff from holding the wheel. There was water dripping off the payphone beside the ice machine. Coffee smelled burned near the counter, some old guy coughing in the back. Waitress looked half asleep herself, refilling ketchup bottles slow. I left my jacket in the truck cab, too tired to go back out. Just stood there warming my hands on a paper cup gone soft from steam. Rain across the truck stop lights, blue shining on the puddle ground. Semis rolling through the darkness without making much of a sound. The woman at the register asked if I was heading far. I said just south a little ways, and watched rain slide across the cars. Booth number 7 still had crumbs and a newspaper folded open. Someone left 2 quarters by the jukebox, like they meant to come back. My shoulders aching quiet ways after nights like this. Static drifting through the speakers between old country songs. There's a photograph inside the glove box, been riding there for months. I almost looked at it tonight, but let the dashboard stay shut. Across the truck stop lights, cold glow under buzzing signs. Coffee getting weaker by the minute, same as my eyes. Outside the highway kept moving like it always does. Wet tires humming through the dark, heading somewhere I'm not sure of. Nothing really happened here. That's probably why I stayed a while. Just rain, coffee, and the sound of trucks passing by. Pedal steel drifting softly. Sky turning gray above the station. Fog sitting low near the road. I paid my tab and stepped outside into the smell of rain and diesel smoke. Truck stop lights fading behind me. Radio static, southbound again. engine noise low beneath the radio. Somewhere west of Amarillo, the heater barely worked at all. I kept one hand around a paper cup, trying to hold what little warmth was left. There was a dog asleep beside the ice machine at a truck stop near the county line. A man in muddy boots kept feeding quarters into a cigarette machine that jammed twice. I heard your voice for half a second, somewhere inside the radio static. Turned out to be an old country station, fading in and out with the weather. The wipers dragged slow across the glass, smearing truck lights into silver streaks. Mile after mile looked exactly the same. Wet road, low clouds, nothing open. I stopped for gas around 2:30. Coffee stains on the counter by the register. The woman working nights looked tired too. Didn't say much when she handed back my change. There was a cassette on the passenger seat, still stuck where you left it last winter. I never played the other side, didn't really need to. Tape noise and midnight miles, southbound through the rain again. Dashboard light on tired hands, fog rolling past the guardrails. No calls coming through tonight, no town waiting up ahead. Just old songs bleeding through static, and headlights drifting through the dark. The neon outside the motel flickered hard, buzzing blue against the parking lot. I stood there smoking under the awning, listening to trucks out on the highway. Somewhere down the second floor hallway, the television stayed on all night. Thin walls, running pipes, footsteps overhead. Nobody really sleeping much. I kept thinking about turning back around Oklahoma maybe, but the road kept pulling south, like it already made the choice for me. Maybe everybody driving after midnight is carrying something unfinished, a conversation that never landed right, or a name they quit saying out loud. Tape noise and midnight miles, rain tapping soft against the roof, baritone guitar humming low through worn out roadside speakers. Gas gauge hanging near empty, cold air slipping through the door. Another town disappearing behind me before I even saw the name. The radio stayed on till morning, Static between old country songs, clouds moving slow above the highway, coffee gone cold beside the wheel. Rain easing somewhere near dawn. Bartender killed the jukebox first. Then the neon signs one by one. Smoke drifted out the back door into the cold, a long route nine. Somebody dragged a chair across the floor. A bottle rolled somewhere in the kitchen. I stood outside with my keys a minute, watching headlights slide through the mist. That waitress wiped down the counter slow, didn't say much when I left, just looked up for half a second, like she already knew I'd be back. The parking lot still smelled like rain, beer signs buzzing through the wall. My jacket carried smoke and fryer grease from sitting there too long again. I got inside the car, cold steering wheel in both hands, radio static under the engine noise, heater barely breathing yet. Smoke drifting past Route 9, blue light shaking in the puddles, the town fading softer behind me every mile or two. No big ending waiting out there, no reason to drive this slow, just tires moving through wet darkness and the radio staying low. There was an old coffee cup by the seat, receipts slid around near my boots. I drove south beneath the power lines while fog swallowed the shoulder lanes. A truck passed somewhere to my left, red lights disappearing quick. I almost turned around once when the song changed on the radio, but the bar was already gone by then, just neon glow behind the fog, and that quiet feeling that shows up after everybody finally leaves. Smoke drifting past Route 9, AM voices drowning in static, low clouds hanging over the highway like they got nowhere else to go. No angels in the rearview mirror, no lesson hiding in the night, just another empty road unwinding past the edge of town. The light slid across the dashboard. Rain started somewhere ahead, and the last of that neon glow fell behind the trees. Smoke drifting past Route 9. Smoke drifting past Route 9. The bartender killed the neon sign. One table still covered in empty glasses. Some old country song fading through the wall, while the waitress counted tips alone. I pulled my jacket off the chair. Still smell like smoke and fryer grease. Outside, rain sat on the parking lot, turning the asphalt silver underneath. The truck rolled slow past Route 9, throwing water across my boots. I stood there by the back door a while, listening to the ice machine buzz. The cab was cold when I got in, coffee cup sliding near the seat. I turned the key halfway first, just to hear something besides myself. Static drifting through the speakers, some late preacher from Abilene, then a worn-out guitar somewhere distant, barely making it through the noise. Static on the Texas radio, highway lines running pale and thin. Town disappeared behind the rain like it was never holding me there to begin with. And the night got quiet, southbound, just tires singing over wet concrete. The radio cutting in and out like somebody too tired to keep talking. Dashboard glowing faded green, cigarette burning near the window crack. Past an empty diner off the highway, chairs already turned upside down. Somewhere near the county line, fog started lowering through the fields. I drove with one hand on the wheel and the heater breathing against my knees. The song came through for half a minute, then disappeared back into static. Still, I kept driving slower, like I knew it would come back eventually. Static on the Texas radio, cold headlights stretching through the dark. Every mile loosening without saying much about it. And it felt lonely in a quiet way, not the kind that has to be fixed. Just another road after closing time, and another night driving through it. The station finally disappeared near dawn, but I never turned the radio off. Rain on the windshield, radio barely coming through. Southbound again. Stopped outside Amarillo for coffee. Fluorescent lights humming overhead. Girl behind the counter looked tired too. Didn't say much when she handed me the change. My jacket still smelled like cigarette smoke from the bar back in Wichita Falls. Some old country station kept fading in and out, steel guitar buried under the static. I sat there longer than I meant to. Truck tires whispering down the highway, fog sitting low across the road. Ashtray full beside the shifter, cold air slipping through the cracked window. The heater came and went like it couldn't make up its mind. Every few miles another empty station, another voice talking through the dark. Somewhere near the state line, the road stopped feeling real. The radio stayed on till dawn, even when the signal got weak. Just low voices and old songs, keeping the silence off me. Rain dragging across the glass dashboard, glowing soft and blue. I don't think I was heading anywhere, I just couldn't pull over yet. Motel room facing the parking lot, vacancy sign buzzing outside the curtain. Water dripping from the ice machine, somebody's TV bleeding through the wall. I left the lamp on beside the bed, boots still wet near the heater. The radio sitting quiet on the nightstand, static moving slow between songs. I kept listening like I knew the voice. Nobody sounds awake after 4 a.m., not the truckers, not the radio hosts, not me. The radio stayed on till dawn, soft static filling up the room, headlights moving past the curtains, then disappearing back into rain. Morning coming up somewhere gray, coffee gone cold by the bed, the sky getting lighter little by little while the night refused to leave. Rain against the motel window, low signal drifting through the dark. The radio stayed on till dawn, and somehow that was enough. Static fading, truck tires far down the highway, rainwater moving through the parking lot.
Coffee cups under fluorescent light, counting and yawning near the pie case sign. Rainwater drying on my boots, been driving since somewhere past Baton Rouge. Woman in a denim jacket smokes outside, headlights drag slow across the blinds. Coffee tastes burnt, still keeps me warm. That's about enough this close to dawn. Waitress asks if I'm heading far. I look out toward the park, semis and shrugs. She fills my cup without another word, like quiet something everybody learned. Ice machine humming through the back room wall, old country song barely there at all. My motel key beside the salt, hands still shaking from the road. Coffee cups under fluorescent light, blue-white glow in the middle of the night. Nobody laughing much in here, just tired voices and disappearing rain. And the highway still rolls through my head, even sitting still instead, like the tires never really stop. After nights like this, truck stop clock says 3:18. Couple truckers drifting off to sleep. TV weather flickers without sound. Cold front pushing southbound. My jacket smells like smoke and rain. Ashtray full beside the change. Outside the neon buzzes low, like it don't wanna stay awake no more. Summer past the counter light, coffee steams into the silence. Nobody asking where anybody's been. no radio noise, no driving wheel, just the sound of cups and fluorescent buzz, carrying the rest of the night. Under fluorescent light, rain sliding down the windows all night, waitress stacking chairs alone, while trucks keep rolling through the dark. Take this neon home, rush drums fading slowly into silence. Rainwater dripping off my sleeves, coffee spinning black beneath the light. Radio low behind the kitchen wall, nobody at the counter tonight. Pulled in slow beside the ice machine, engine ticking in the rain. Vacancy sign buzzing through the window like it hadn't slept in days. There was ketchup drying on the table, couple receipts beside the phone. Somebody left the back door halfway open, cold air drifting through alone. Nobody at the counter tonight. Just burnt coffee and fluorescent light. My hand's still stiff from holding that wheel. Some roads take a while to leave. Headlights crossed the parking lot once, then disappeared back into the rain. Everything felt half awake in there, like the whole place knew my name. Old man sleeping near the cigarette machine, hat pulled down across his face. Coffee cups stacked beside the register, dust hanging through the haze. I kept staring at the wet floor tiles, listening to the cooler hum. Thought about calling somebody, but it was way too late for anyone. Somewhere south of Amarillo, the night just settled in my chest. Didn't feel broken, nobody at the counter tonight. Only neon trembling white, truck tires singing past the station, static floating through the night. Coffee gone cold beside my elbow, rain still running off the sign. Didn't feel lonely all at once, just nobody at the counter tonight. Radio still talking softly, kitchen light beginning to fade. I sat there a while without moving, till the rain finally changed. Ice machine humming down the hallway, blue light shaking through the blinds. Somewhere outside another engine started, nobody at the counter tonight. Fog got thicker west of Amarillo. Could barely see the shoulder line. Coffee sitting cold in the cup holder. Radio humming low beside me. Headlights moving through the fog and disappearing again, like everybody out here tonight had somewhere else to be. Wipers dragging slow across the windshield, cigarette burning near my hand. There's a truck stop receipt beside the shifter, from somewhere I don't even remember stopping at. Past a closed down tire station, one soda machine still glowing blue. Felt like the whole highway was half asleep, except for me and those 18-wheelers rolling through. And the headlights kept moving through the fog, slow and pale against the rain. Every mile started looking the same. Gas stations, vacancy signs, dark windows glowing faint. Nobody talking on the radio now, just static breaking through old songs. I kept driving south through all that weather, like I didn't know where else to go. Stopped a while outside a diner, fluorescent light buzzing overhead. Some tired waitress counting cigarettes near a stack of upside down chairs. Coffee tasted burnt and empty, heat barely working by the door. A man in an oil-stained denim jacket fell asleep 2 stools down from mine. Outside, fog rolling low across the parking lot, headlights drifting past the diesel pumps, then fading back into into the dark, and the headlights kept moving through the fog like memories you almost recognize. Rain sliding sideways past the windshield, state line somewhere behind us now. There's a motel key still in my jacket, paint worn off the number, almost clean. Funny how you carry little things for years, even after they stop meaning anything. Around 3 a.m., the road got quiet all at once. No station lights, no headlights nearby, just tires hissing over wet asphalt. Thought about calling somebody, watch the signal disappear instead. Some nights don't feel lonely all at once, it just settles in slow inside your chest. Headlights moving through the fog, then nothing there again. Radio static, rain on glass, southbound till morning finally shows up. Engine humming low, wipers dragging slow, fog swallowing the highway whole.
Bartender flipped the chairs up slow, one leg scraping across the floor. That old ceiling fan near the kitchen kept pushing smoke toward the door. Somebody left change in the jukebox, the song still playing low and warm. I stood there longer than I needed, watching rain collect outside the storm door. The waitress carried cups to the sink, didn't say much after 2. She just nodded when I grabbed my jacket, like everybody there already knew. The beer signs buzzed against the window, blue lights shaking in the glass. The jukebox kept singing to nobody, while the last few minutes passed. In the parking lot, look, washed out silver under those highway lamps. Cold air moving through the cracked car window, while the engine warmed my hands.
drifting in and out. I felt better leaving all that noise behind me. Still didn't feel good about it somehow. Truck tires whispered down the frontage road. Red lights fading through the mist. I passed the laundromat on Mason, still glowing like it never closed. There was an old receipt beside the ashtray. Coffee smell still in my coat. The city got smaller in the mirror till it turned into scattered gold. No big goodbye, nobody chasing anybody down. Just the wipers keeping time and empty streets behind the town. The jukebox played empty chairs long after the room cleared out. I drove south beneath those low clouds with the radio turned way down. Somewhere near the county line, rain started tapping on the roof, and all the noise back there behind me sounded softer than the truth. Neon fading in the rear view, fog building past the glass. Just highway lines and midnight going past. Tape hits. Air conditioner humming low. Pulled in close to 4 a.m. Wipers dragging slow across the glass. Truck stop coffee in my left hand. Rainwater running off the dash. The woman at the counter looked half asleep. Didn't say much when I paid. Just pushed the room key down the counter beneath the cigarette stains. There was mud dried up around my boots, a buzzing light outside the door. Some old country station playing softly from the room beside mine through the wall. The neon buzzed until morning.
lot. Headlights moved along the curtains, then disappeared and stopped. I sat there with the TV glowing, without the volume on. Somewhere south of Amarillo, trying to rest my eyes a while. Ice machine shaking down the hallway like it never went to sleep. My coffee turned cold beside the bed, still halfway full beside the receipt. I thought about calling somebody, then let the thought pass by. Could hear 18-wheelers rolling southbound through the wet black highway night. A waitress left out near the diner, then silence settled back in slow. Only the soda machine humming and that blue motel glow. The neon buzzed until morning, flickering through the blinds. Rain shining under truck stoplights like broken dashboard lines. I watched the dark turn gray a little above the empty road. Some nights keep moving through you long after you get home. Radio static on the nightstand, low enough to barely hear. Some preacher talking through the static, then an old George Jones somewhere. Morning coming through the curtains, cold against the room. Neon finally losing color while the highway carried on. The neon buzzed until morning, until morning. The bartender stacked the glasses, while the jukebox lost its glow. Someone zipped a heavy jacket, stepping out into the cold. Beer signs buzzing in the corner, rain slipping down the street. The room kept getting quieter, with
every empty seat. Coffee cold beside the ashtray, smoke hanging near the fan. Waitress counting folded dollars in the palm of her hand. I stayed longer than I needed, just listening to the rain. Heavy trucks out on the highway, rolling southbound through the dark. Last cigarette behind the bar, blue neon on my hands, static waiting in the dashboard, somewhere out beyond the land. Nobody talked about tomorrow. Closing time came soft and slow, just wet streets outside the window, watching red tail lights let go. I stepped out into the parking lot, cold drizzle on the hood, the skyline fading in the rear view, just like I knew it would. A freight train passed the warehouses, somewhere out on Route 9. I let the engine rumble softly, watching fog drink up the light. Some nights don't break apart, they just slowly let you go. One room at a time, one empty road at a time. Last cigarette behind the bar, radio low against the rain, southbound underneath low clouds, leaving town once more again. The neon shrank inside the mirror as the highway opened wide, and the night kept rolling westward, quiet as the dashboard light. Wipers moving slow, static through the speakers. Last cigarette behind the bar, somewhere behind me now. last chair up on the table. Bartender wiping down the rail. Some old country station playing low. Through a speaker near the kitchen. I stood a second by the back door. Smoke hanging in the yellow light. Nobody talking much by then. Just ice melting somewhere behind the bar. My change folded in my shirt pocket. Keys cold from sitting on the counter. Rainwater moving through the parking lot. Past a rusted Chevrolet. The waitress shut the coffee machine on. One motel sign buzzing down the road. Somebody laughed out in the alley. Then the whole place went still again. Baritone blues after closing time. Low strings rolling through the dash. That old neon fading in the mirror like the night was finally giving out. Wipers dragging slow across the glass. Southbound under broken clouds. I cracked the window just enough to let the cold air move around. Gas station glowing at the corner. Blue light shaking on wet concrete. Radio static between two stations. Then an old voice drifting back in. I kept driving past the warehouses, past the last lit bar downtown. Engine humming soft beneath me. Street lights thinning mile by mile. Didn't feel lost, didn't feel alright either. Just tired enough to keep driving and piss. Highway noise, rain against the windshield. Nobody needing anything from me. Baritone blues after closing time. Empty road beneath the wires. Coffee smell still on my jacket. Neon sinking behind my eyes. Headlights moving through the drizzle. Low clouds over county lines. That old guitar riding beside me like it had nowhere else to go. AM radio glow. Rain on the hood. Another truck stop waiting somewhere further south.